Good morning, everybody. How's your 2, 3, 4 weeks? Anyway, we have very great weeks last few weeks, right? We have did a lot of walks. But also, after a lot of walks, we can see the household in the Dalai Lama. We are very very honorable. No, honorable. Fortunate. We are very fortunate person. And this also happened, everybody walked together, very hard working. Then this even happened. Otherwise, just 2 or 3 people cannot do all the things. Anyway, everybody enjoy. This is the more important. And we can more manage. And also we did a lot of help or benefit for a lot of other people, other beings. Then, anyway, also Holiness talk English, they talk more Tibetans. But they will translate to English. You can see. Some parts he teaches, some parts he don't. He said, Lord, I'm going to secret that. Not much secret, but some today. He bought for Tibetans. And some parts he also gives some teachings. But anyway, more benefit, we all saw him. We all heard his voice. Too.
Just seeing his face or hearing his voice is very fortunate.
There will be a very great opportunity among marriage. Usually, if Buddhism, if you are not faith, even you sleep, if you stay with Buddha all the time, you don't get much benefits. If you are not faith. Because if you don't have no faith, you don't do what Buddha said. Faith, right? Faith. What you guys heard? Fat. Oh, sorry. Faith. Faith. Okay. Faith. Even Buddhism practice way. If you have no faith, even you stay with Buddha 24 hours, you don't get much benefit. Because Buddha doesn't check our sufferings, problems out. He shows how you develop our mind, how you abandon our negative mind. If you don't have faith or you don't have belief, if you didn't do whatever he said, whatever he or she said, right? Even same as right? In regular our daily things. If someone that you don't have belief, if someone says something that we don't believe, we don't do. Then also some people, we ask us something, then we don't have much sure is this person right or wrong, then we don't follow this person's what they show us. Same. if you have faith, then what he or she advised, told us, we can follow that. Therefore, we have a lot of holiness teachings, a lot of holiness books, even other lamas books, We can read the books that usually the teachings, most teachings, the same thing, say again and again, all a little different way, not especially new things, Anyway, also whatever holiness told the secret Tibetans, then you will see, and Damchoe get targeted. And also we have, opportunity, great opportunity, the Tibetan Center,
the head of the
director of Pabongka also come here. We are very fortunate. Also he gave nice teaching for us, and he gave a lot of blessings. Anyway, we all worked together many months. Then finally we got great opportunity to see all of them. Without hard working, it's not happen. Therefore, also, we try to be very hard working to practice. And one day, definitely,
So if we work hard from our side, we will definitely one day achieve the state of liberation or enlightenment.
Right? And then, 쇼케데 군다 같이 죽대야데 대화지 뭐 누가 많이 시더라고.
So whatever we do in our daily life, from early in the morning till we go to bed, everything that we do, is to find some kind of happiness for ourselves, right?
그거. 근데 이만 지금 쇼케데 군다라고지. 샤바차도 수상을 있다다. 라고 젠 강으로 대화지 너야 누가지 많이 어쨌든 내가 전에 제기를
So normally, when we don't think, of course, we don't think it that way, but if we really think what are we doing, why we are doing that, then we will see that either, is to help ourselves or others who are doing those things, right?
대화를 하시고, 그래서 당근에게 때도 대화해야 돼, 타와도 생기지 마, 공지 타봐야나, 때도 대화면 대화해서 이거를.
So to find some kind of happiness, right? So if we achieve either liberation or enlightenment, then we'll have the everlasting happiness. In order to achieve that kind of happiness, everlasting happiness of enlightenment or liberation, then we have to know how to achieve that. And to know that, you have to study. So that was one of the main advice that His Holiness gave to the Tibetans.
He asked when he went to the India, Ladakh, he asked that all the orders, maybe Tibetans, Ladakh, maybe some Indians anyway. He asked how many people know the Sanji Chutuma, the refuge Buddhist, refuge place, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, you can recite. Everybody recite. Then he asked, he said, how many know that the meaning? Then no one recite. He said, don't do that. You have to know meaning. Usually what we recite, this few called also, many meanings we cannot understand. Also special their mantras. We say, it's translated also. Sanskrit, we don't know, but anyway, most things important is you have to know meaning of what you study, what you recite. Therefore, we hope we all main goals, achieve enlightenment, liberation, but they have to know how you do that. And we have to study. Study, Buddha, he gave teaching, we have 100, some parts some 108 volumes, some has 100 volumes, so all the teaching there. just stay there nicely. Then India masters their commentary. They have 220 books, somewhere 230 books, 30 books. And all the teachers are there. After that, then Tibetan masters, also there are a lot of commentaries. We don't understand Buddha's words, which are hard to. Then the Indian masters make it a little bit easy to understand. I mean, that people can understand. Then now degenerate, then we don't understand this thing is also very difficult. For me also maybe, calculus maybe, think is more difficult. Think is more
more verses.
More verses. The calculus, a little longer, then more difficult. Then degenerate, now we don't, if we go to just follow the books, we don't understand what to talk about. Then after the Tibetan masters, the other masters make more commentaries, and now we have a lot of books, other books. And more easy, taught to different way, Relax, Lama Adisha, when he come to India, he teach to Tibetan for London.
When he came to Tibet.
When he come to Tibetan, he teach to all Buddha's teaching combined together. The Tibetan king asked him to, then Adisha asked, what do you want? Then Tibetan king asked him, I need to easy understand all Buddha's teachings meaning. Then he teach to, we call lam-rim, lamb on path. This also verses, you can understand it for us. Then after the, Rinpoche, he wrote the lam-rim Chemo, the commentary, this big book, more than this book. And after that, also many different, also then Pabongka Rinpoche, he wrote this book. This commentary was lam-rim Chemo and the lamb path both. Anyway, all the teachings a little bit easy, taught to make more easy understand, degenerate people then you could understand. We have more ignorance. We lost more wisdoms. This we call degenerate, But we have a lot of opportunity to many different kind of books. Same subject that many different kinds of books talk about differently, And we have a lot of books, a lot of teachings. And now our hand. If we do effort, one day we achieve enlightenment. Because what we call it, many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas shows complete the path or rule how you to go that. They show us, this is my experience. I have this experience, I achieved this kind. Then if you like, you do this. If you don't like, just forgot it like that. Therefore, study is very important. Then I understand, you guys really, all the scholars, PhDs, LPS, masters, doctors, very scholar for Western education. But now we have to change, you guys also do the Buddhism and scholars. Also, if you study Buddhism, usually we also say Buddhism, So you can study, you can get some benefit there. It's more important. And even also, we don't understand much put big influence. Even if we don't understand this life, the next life, we definitely getting better. Influence is very important. And now we a little difficult to understand, we age also a little bit high, not too high, a little bit kind of. We are adults. Adults a little bit difficult to learn. The young kids very easy to understand. Easy learn, Even, you guys saw the Fiona, the little girl, she have a lot of memorized the chantings. No, it's very young, they heard again, it's very easy to catch. For us, it's maybe 100 times. 100 times again. It's too good. Although, when I was studying, I was 19 years old, getting, older than, we have to learn, memorize. Either 2-3 words, we have to, again. Sometimes we don't get the memories, be very angry, just push throughout the day. Then we don't, check out, to do it again. It's hard to, hold. Also, depends on our previous life impulse. Some people are very easy to understand, very easy to memorize. They show their very strong impulse previous life. Easy to put the
so even if they meet with a small condition, they learn it very fast.
If some person we teach again, all the time, same, they shows, they don't have much impulse previous life. Therefore, we put very, very good impulse right now. Then, next generation, next life, easy to, when a little bit condition come in, easy to understand more, interest also, interest to that. Therefore, anyway, we have really opportunity to really good, there was Holiness Dalai Lama come here, and Lama Sabaramachi come here, we have very great opportunity we done, but still our main goal is not enough. We have to achieve full happiness, full enlightenment, and we have to run that. Then there we have to first study, then meditation. Meditation means what? You mind some object.
So meditation means to be familiarized to the object that you're meditating on. So when it says that we have to meditate on loving kindness, compassion, or bodhicitta, that means we have to think about those things again and again until they become very familiar to our mind. So the generating bodhicitta is when we're able to make any part of our mind to become in the nature of bodhicitta, that mind, then that's what we call generated bodhicitta.
아니 미지에서 나도다 선체도 두마다 transitillo 드릴로 대 수수지지 시발이 드릴로 대 모라케는 가도되라 미지시 못겨버레스.
So same with the compassion. So when after meditating on it, when we generate any part of our mind to become in the nature of compassion, then that's when we have generated compassion.
아니 샴바스 조바스 드릴 수수지로 드릴 수수지지 시발이 드린 거는 깨고 그래서.
And so same with love and patience. So part of one's mind has to be generated in that nature of that mind.
드릴배나 샴바로 오죠. 남자가 슈치고 깨터와 있나? 아니 코로세데 용도 말해 코로세데 깨 말해서.
So if we have a strong love in our mind, then we will not be angry. We will not get angry. So can there be love and anger at the same time in one person's mind? So if the love is manifesting in your mind, then that will suppress the anger. If a person is angry, then will not be able to generate love, right?
근데 이제 나도 저래 지금 샤바도 니제다 샤주고 선도 도저 간에 거기 고대야 지 마다나 되게 같애대 들었는데 아니 공로도 맞아도 차도도 맞춤처럼 그래서
So therefore, if we generate more of this good quality of the mind, like love, compassion, patience, and so forth, then the negative state of the mind, such as the anger and the wish to harm others and so forth, will be suppressed or decreased.
말씀 문제가 누가 마음보식 변화 자살 급축 고지 고거식 수생 속에서 말씀.
And so all these unwanted sufferings of ours are mostly like about 97-98% of it are created by our mind.
그리고 대리 자살 가시 쉽게는 나오다 되는 거예요.
And then few of the percentages come from the outside conditions.
당가도 대 삼로 약을 받는 것도 대 캐나 두고 말했어.
So if we don't think deeply, then we'll not be able to accept that.
그래서 캡권을 가면 남주나마 아니 수용 가야 남주 땅에 대가 말 강에 먹으면서 강에 먹으시는 것도 세소에 같이 내고 그랬어. 말 강에 먹으면 되었어. 이렇게 강에 너무 수수네. 강에 너무 콜때 벨트도 콜 빌모시. 제가 벨트 소가 이렇게 벨트요. 아니 계란에 마음을 가데 마 좋아. 계란 빌모 하래 그러고 계란 배치 가데 따와 계란 빌모 걸래 그러고 소소는 계란 하나 하래 그랬어. 나오겠어.
So when I was flying back from Cape Cod, the pilot said he has a lot of problem. He has a lot of problem to pay the bills, and so he said, "And who created all these problems?" And I said, "You created yourself all these problems. So nobody asked you to pay the bill if you didn't buy anything. So you're the one who went out to buy, and then that's why you have to pay the bill. So if you didn't buy, you will not have to pay the bill. So you are the one who created the problem." And then he said, in one way of thinking, that's really true.
Usually, example, you guys have how many different shirts? How many shirts have you guys? Right? I think at least 10. More than 10. Therefore, even now we can just example. I'm not saying it will be always short now, okay? Even until today we don't buy any clothes. But I think enough. We are ready.
So if we just use the clothes that we have now, that will be enough, and that will last until we die.
I'm not saying that we will short enough. Even you live maybe 80 years. Enough, Also, we have this country, we don't have to be hard working, for some saying, Barbara, she's always, getting the gardens, getting things. This country, anything in it,
So that will wear up more clothes if you work.
Otherwise, we go to the office, come back, the clothes don't wear much. Also, do you guys wear any clothes selling? Then my response to continuous.
Have you ever worn a cloth that has a hole on your shoes? Like on the
not just you make hole, okay? Sometimes they make holes there. I mean they sell it.
So from the wearing it off, so do you have a cloth that got hole or torn from wearing it off?
If you wear this, then you use the cloth very well. Oh yeah, over there, it's showing. Anyway, today the 관심은 나로서 생그 초시에 많이 나시는 가도 많아서 요요를 봤어.
Anyway, we are not satisfied with what we have, not content with what we have, so therefore we always buy more and more, right?
근데 요야테나나 간소 강가라지. 자, 야시도만 요요를 봤어.
And what we buy is the best one that we can afford, right?
근데 그 간제 나로서 생기 일단 너한테 마타오라 때니 다 모두 강에 먹으시는 거예요.
And so because of our strong great desire, therefore we get all these more problems, right?
Also one part this 육소를 오지. 그리고 노다로 오지 않으면 근데 남시 잘하러 오지 않아요. 배도 아린지는 남시 잘하러 찍어지잖아요.
So it's just because of the custom. Otherwise, if we compare the weather, the hot and coldness of the weather, I think it's about same as that we have here in Tibet.
별에나 히트에 미치어요 말이야. 스치 거다 단지 거기서 긴 신호도 요 말이야.
So there's no heat, the facilities, the heating facilities over in Tibet, but you don't find any people dying of coldness.
that is not only the heat medan. Maybe it's well not dry, they got sick bed. Because our body keeps many things. And here the summer in India, summer. I think maybe Saudi Arabia is very hot, everybody very scared, but I think similar. We don't have AC. When too hot, we put some water out on the floor and outside, something some water and turn it off upon the roof. No one died to hard. But for here the US, especially the United States, the people have a lot of things. So whatever we want, we can go to shop. Then we have to buy many things. We need many things. Then we have to walk a lot. We have not enough money. We have to walk a lot, right? If we less buy things, we use less money. If we don't want to worry too much work, But this customer or this, Harvard, we need a lot of things here. Look at it. The most things anyway, this men, what we share thought it, that's all, one change kanji, susu sem, that's susu mother day, and cheta, and the tell it then, that's it. And the susu sem, here, man, watching the mobile,
so mostly it's because of our own desire and wanting, all these things for oneself, and not being satisfied with what we have. Because of that, all these problems are created. So this is the only short life we have, so we should not be spending it in problems, right? So we should make it comfortable as possible.
Right? We don't know next life be born human being or not. Maybe some animal outside, who knows? No one knows. Next year, someone asked born the next tree behind the center side of and some scholars, who knows? Usually, people have more strong connection place. When they come to China, and the sun is at Kyoto.
So when they're attached to that place, then they are born in that place. So if you're born as a human being, of course, you might make your way, to the center. But if you're born as an animal, you could be, one of the animals now in the backyard.
Remember the holiness told the Tibetan older people in here, they're mostly over 70 years old. And he said, now you guys time to die. It's very, very short. Everybody, not much longer. You almost time to die. But you everybody pray.
So it's always said, you should pray. You should pray to be born as a human being, to be born in a Tibetan community, who believing in Buddhism and so forth, and you pray to be born as such kind of human being. And he said he will also pray for them.
Today Okay, then look at that. Then now we can go to the book. I don't know where's the book page number. Do you guys know what page number? What category?
112, I think it was.
Yeah, I think
Page 276.
the blue book. Heading number? Heading 112.
계산하니까 아니 나중에 내가 거기다 더 왔어.
So we're we're talking about the difficulties of finding the perfect rebirth, right?
와. 아니, 단조 니까와 괜찮아서 마스 와. 투시 방부 사진도 봐. 방부 따서는 돼.
Tenchoe since
된처로. 아니, 다 같이 된처와 사진 가지고 다 참아서 쳐야 돼. 그리고
So we already talked about the beneficial, how beneficial the perfect rebirth is, right? The value of it, temporarily, ultimately, and in the short term and so forth. We talked about that. So then we start where we're going to talk about the difficulty to achieve this perfect rebirth.
아니, 달 세야 되니 주셔서 다 왔어.
So optimum human rebirth means optimum is in a sense like having the leisure, having the time, the freedom to practice Dharma.
근데 저스나 다 왕다 신기거든요. 주식을 그거에 봐서 뒤돌아오시나.
So the endowment is having all the facilities, the external, the internal, the personal and circumstantial conditions for one to practice Dharma.
아니 다와제는 좋았겠어요. 다와라 다 말하면 제요래서.
So there are like 8 leisures and 10 endowments, right?
아니 다가 다와진 좋았지는 않아. 한국의 상고와 나 예능의 상고가 다 동네. 아니 주점지에서 그랬어.
So there are 8 freedoms, 8 leisures, and the 10 endowments. The 10 endowments are 5 personal and 5 circumstantial, and so that makes 18 attributes.
일단 나도 단단 쪽에 저는 나도 단단 나도 상대 그랬어. 나도 상대 그랬어.
So right now we have all these 18 attributes.
근데 이제 대 상계 왔다 대 상화된 그 섬에 다 대다 아니 다 수수가 가나 대다 친구에 봐. 근데 대다 친구 접토와 그나 싸면 땅이 아니 대도 최대만 하고 지금 그래서.
So understanding that we have all these 18 attributes and how valuable it is, how meaningful it is, how beneficial it can be. By understanding that, we should not waste any of it at all.
아니 다 와지 좋았지. 아니 다 대단한 친구래. 도치들라 안내 가라 되죠. 다 들어야 되죠. 아니 기지를 해야 되는데 다 대단한 친구 들지 그래. 지금 수점제 처음에 물에 토바였나 아니 대라 되네. 토비와 있나 아니 대라 되네 다 대단한 친구 숨을 더 그래서 내가 다 두다 기지 니만 relaya 대단한 친구 그래서 지가 이거스.
So the 8 leisures and 10 endowments. So if we have that, then with that we can, with that we can achieve great things, from this life. And so, how it is very beneficial. This has 3 headings. It is great benefit. It's great benefit in the short term. It's great benefit in the long term. In short, thinking how even every moment of it can be beneficial.
내가 듣는 다 내가 단단 간주 미 세들이야. 미 근데 돈은 다 봐지. 저 봐야 다 리텐들 더 그래서.
So the short-term benefit is that if we practice Dharma, we can practice in this lifetime.
심한 연소도 먹기와 아니 연주 아니 가로 이것도 받아 뭐 딱하지. 가도 연주 미 공부 미 대계획이 제대로 다른 거 미들 더 그래서.
So we can prevent rebirth in the lower realms and be born as in the higher realm as a human or a god. We can do that. We can achieve that through this profitable rebirth that we have right now.
배나 다 주쇼를 해봐야나 아니 가지 타와도 들지 마 가리 들어봐야나요. 일단 내가 무슨 돈을 받아 가리지 지금도 또 무슨으로도 가리 들어봤다 미리 들어도 그래 선제 쓰기다 제가 student 말이지.
And so this kind of Dharma practice to prevent rebirth in the lower realms and so forth can be done. So that's the temporal benefits which can't be achieved by the other beings like the animals and so forth.
배나 단다 배나 문 다 그래서 나도 지금 뭐 깨닫지 못하 뭐 왕다치 뭐 그러지 용어나 소소 미때가 깔지 않는 거 용어를 봤어.
So whatever we have achieved now in our life, right? There's some people that become rich, they become very powerful, they become famous, and so they did something in that lifetime as a human being, they did something in that lifetime as a human being to achieve those things, right?
아니 딱 내가 내가 좀 못다 되는 방법은 다 둘라 아니 다와도 던져 제봐요. 다 밑에를 좀 해서.
So those are the temporal benefits, is that we can achieve all these things, and not only that, achieve a good rebirth in the future lives. And then the ultimate benefit, is that we can achieve a state of full enlightenment, liberation, or even a full enlightenment.
그래서 다와도 던져 제봐라 토발라 아니 다 아니 가리 되게 예주적으로 예주대 아니 딱 그거 다와도 던져 고마 토발라 아니 다 나왔으면 이제 그래서 대연은 트럭이 나와서 해야 돼 아니 예주라 예주에서 해야 돼 당도 뭐마도 로시트나 되게 도움 말해서 이까지 가려서.
In order to achieve liberation or enlightenment, we have to engage in the practice of the three higher trainings, and to do that, you have to engage in the practice of the training of morality, and the training of morality is done on the basis of having generated renunciation, and the renunciation is generated only in the human life, human rebirth.
다 들어야 된다. 아니 사지가 고마. 다 와서 다 던지지만 가르쳐가지고 다 믿고 듣고 그랬어.
And so these achievements of liberation or enlightenment has to be achieved by depending on the human rebirth that we are right now.
아니 다 깨지를 해야 된다 싶어요. 됐나? 또 깡찍 빨리 뒤에서 많이 지금 해나. 나는 감방아 최대 체가를 꼬라고 만들어마나. 다 되게 올라오지. 근데 그 어서님도 싸고 그래서.
And then lastly, thinking how briefly about how even every moment of it can be most beneficial. So like even if we recite a mantra for a few moments, or and the moment it takes for us to offer our incense, we create a great amount of merit just by doing that.
아니 자세히 뭐 시원하게야. 깨웠던 셔번도 발라 간텐달라 편마머리도 지나야다 저거 가는지를. 자, 저 된다다가 된줄 받으시나? 단단 접근마다 신의 양조 제단에 계속 가르쳐오셔야 돼. 드립제고 된다다 봤어야 돼. 아니 다 몇세 돈하다 봐. 몇세 된다다 봤어야 돼. 몇세 추당. 다 그럼 추당 제발 뭐지 추당 내니 제고 해서 송을 해서.
So like Shantideva said, that the optimum rebirth that we have found now, through this we can achieve all these great things. If we don't make good use of it right now, how will we be able to find it again after we die, or after we lose it, or after we die from this life? So he's saying that right now we have all these great opportunities to practice Dhamma, so we should make good use of it. There's many great benefits in this life, and this is a human rebirth, so we should make good use of it. If we don't use it right now, then we will not be able to find such kind of rebirth again after we die.
아니 니리 제가 되는데 봤어야 돼. 수술 못해달라냐. 조금 맞다 왔잖아. 잡만 잡았잖아. 제대로 달라고 말했을 때, 다 자치고 먹는 게 소도 그래.
So making this life meaningful doesn't mean that just being able to not be hungry or not be thirsty and not be without clothes and so forth. So that even the animals can arrange.
저러고 자치고도 저거는 건너줘야 수술까지 맞아 탑시다 보고마다 탑시 주대 그래. 그것도 널로 그래서.
So even the animals like the birds outside there who fly all over the place from morning till night, to know how to achieve these things like the food, the shelter and so forth.
다 남의 취지는 다 그런 게 왔다 모두 샘게 왔다고 그래. 샘게 왔다에 샘대 샘 두자도 좀 왔다고 그래.
So how do we make this life meaningful? What does it mean by making this life meaningful? Is by practicing Dharma. So if we practice Dharma, then we're making our life meaningful. So making it meaningful through practicing Dharma.
근데 이번에는 나가서도 나가서 때 좋은 땅다고 그랬어.
So think about helping others, benefiting others, and think about not thinking too much about myself. Try to lessen that thought of thinking of myself alone.
근데 난 내가 문도 나 가오면 나도 나도 못 왔어. 그러니까 먼저 듣기 못 왔어.
So most of the problems comes by thinking that I'm not happy, I don't like that, and so forth.
Right? We have almost problems. We just think, where they come from. I don't like, he or she's action. I don't like he or she or that idea. Therefore, say, you always say, I don't like say that. Always believe I. Therefore, 된리가 딱 만져야 돼. 사실 된리 로테 넣어서 그런다 그래.
So Buddha said you should, get rid of that kind of mind.
세단 막 나서 같이 그랬어. 수수 타고 자고 그랬어. 이나야. 되게 휴체잖아. 되게 좀 하고 싶은데.
So of course, generally the eye is good. One should take care of it. But if you think too much about it, then that will create all the problems.
계속 삼로다는 쇼케는 군다빠이 가서 딱 거리나 가서 지금 자마로 용도 왔어.
So think about it, all these problems that we face, from early in the morning till night, we don't sleep.
Then when the problems how get come, we say, he or she, hurts me. Now that brings me, then I don't like he or she's action. Usually we angry he or she that. Do you guys angry the pillow and the pillar and table and cup? Usually we don't angry them, right? Usually we angry he or she, some person. Therefore that's why we say, I don't like, Sometimes say, he or she hurts my mind, me. Sometimes say, I don't like he or she's action, idea, what they say, what they show. Always bring I. No, because we don't agree pillow. Pillow doesn't have mind. We don't have, what do you call it?
Object.
I don't know how you say. Anyway,
Name.
even pillow hurt us. Maybe we walk, we hit our head to pillow. Do we angry pillow? When we kid, we angry, right? Right? The kids had something that the parents do like hit the pillow, then they're happy. Right? I don't know, do you guys check? Sometimes we fall down, then we angry that there's some rock or something that we angry, then we don't angry, right? We or most animals, he or she. Therefore they bring for us, I. Sometimes, it's okay. Therefore, very important to check how the problems, who create, where they come from. When we really understand that, then 100% they'll come to it.
So if we understand the faults of that self-grasping ignorance, then we'll be able to seize it.
나도 다들 나도 관계를 납식을 납을 딱 나도 야보 말해서 나도 깨를 납을 관계 지금 삼삼비를 했어.
So of course, right now we kind of intellectually we know that it is bad to have that grasping at the self, and as this form is one side, and the I. But it's really difficult to see it as a bad.
근데 쬐는 통화에다 나도 은행이 가리지만 쬐는 통화에다 나도 샤워하는 주간에 나도 까무치게 놓아서 봤어.
Because then if we really see it, if we really see the faults of that I, the grasping at that I, then we will stop engaging in those actions.
빼차셔가나 나도 종가살 때딱 약 보면 막 두자에 막 쬐가지고 가면 통계 가자 대를 맞아 나도 탑시 여기다로 챙기려고.
So, for example, because we know it is not good, to go to the prison, we know the faults of the prison, and therefore we, try all our means, to not go to prison, right?
빼차라고 생각하냐? 나도 딱 아래 밑에 딱 간에다 딱 약을 딱 춤을 춤추기도 왔어.
So, for example, again, the Americans, they all obey the rules very much, right?
But it's very, very good, they obey that. They say the 소소 찌타들에 약급 찌타들 있어. 찌타들. 약급을 해야지 찌타는데 소소도 해야지.
So, obeying the rules of the country, the people obeying the rules of the country, is it because of caring about themselves or because of caring about the country? Why do you think people obey the rules so much here?
What do you think?
Is it because they care so much about the country or because they care about themselves?
If I'm normal, I think we care for ourselves more. Because we work in the law, then we no trouble, you know.
You understand?
You get it? 내가 삼주잖아. 아니 소소 따지는다. 소소 처음 때는 나오나? 소소라 약강에 모르삼네. 아니 그래. 너무 없지요.
So Geshe thinks, because people obey the rules because they care of themselves. They care of themselves more. Because if they don't obey the rules, they will be punished, right? And then they themselves will be the one to suffer. So because they don't want to suffer, they don't want to be punished, therefore they obey the rules.
Also, I think this country has also, when the child, they have very good education, they teach to when the child teach, usually Tibetan doesn't care the laws. So maybe they don't know. Here, maybe they know the Indian, Tibetan, they don't know. In India also, the local people doesn't follow the laws, I think we are people have not much education, the local people have not much education, they're not also not custom 근데 내가 anyway, very tough, 감정 난데 나한테 되게 깨우는 통화 옛날 가서 칼을 나와 좀 많이 봐. 근데 때도 이거 샘을 뒤라치 자체로 쇼에나 때데 뒤에 와서 제가 말하고 제도 그래.
So if we really see the force of that grasping at the eye, and I'm not just saying from your mouth that grasping at the eye is bad, but if we really see the force of it, then we will not follow it too much.
근데 나도 세야 되게 간지 힘봐야나야. 아니 그런 거지. 된딩을 쳐다봐놓지. 수지가 떼먹고 쳐다보면 통도 이래서.
So that grasping at the eye sees the things as existing from its one side, without depending on anything else.
근데 나한테 담보 나한테 로시로 마시고 그래서 로시로
And so first we have to understand that this kind of grasping at the eye is a mistaken mind.
대몇층 많이 봐 그걸라 나서 야부 하고는 뒤질 주고 말아왔어.
So if we understand that that is mistaken mind, then we will not follow it, right?
이제는 딱 나도 제가 뭐지 대라 공대요 인사 아니 딱 그디나 나도 그 감사마다 인상되고 그런데 딱 너를 놓고 전부에 버려서.
But because we are accustomed, with that grasping at the eye for many lifetimes, therefore, we always think that whatever the eye sees is how things are.
그러나 양한테 나한테 나만 샤탕이 되나. 강사 직 바로 남주에서 권하대 수술을 찾았다. 수술 강하다라 코로 싸디고 그 나만 샤탕 말하고 그랬어.
So the way people appear to us it all differs, right? So normally how people appear to us is different from how people appear to us when we are angry towards them.
근데 코로 싸디고 가다 이거는 지금 한국에 절대 맞죠. 코로 싸다 장마지 내가 나도 나만 샤들이.
So especially when we are angry towards that person appears as existing from his or her own side, completely as an enemy from his or her own side, right?
근데 가다 된다마 샤야지 제게 망보지 소발에 때리 그 수술 자세하고도 다 수술 고르서도 차서 말면서 담을 틀면서 그때 차이 말아.
So the person is not an enemy, right? The person that you are angry towards is not enemy from his or her side. So many conditions and many reasons made the person become enemy to you, right?
어때나 너도 나한테 해야 돼. 쭉 가듯이 샤바이나야. 가듯이 샤바이나야. 아랑문이 잡아, 된대문이 잡아. 다 뒤로는 다 수치가 뛰막으로 토대가 저대가 그래서 와.
So that self, that eye, grasping at the eye, sees that person or anything as existing from their one side, without depending on any other things like cause and conditions and so forth.
근데 이 바연자 뭐네 대 제대 제다 짠다 시 초바다 마부지를 때문에 다 죽어요 왔습니다. 그 도도시 증명하게 말았어요.
So when it came into existence, it came into existence by depending on many different things, like the cause, the condition, the aggregates, and so forth. So it is not something that it came on its own without depending on any of those things.
그래와. 그냥 나도 강사라고 해나 부모가라 때는 나도 강사가 따고 이랬으면서 부모가 땅에 가다니고 샤야라고 말했어.
So, for example, the person is imputation towards any of the five aggregates, right? So, assembly or any of the five aggregates, is imputed as a person. So, without depending on the aggregates, there cannot be any person, right?
Now, example, you guys investigation me. You can say, oh, which was me? My hair, my head, my hand, my body, my mind. Which was me? Usually we don't think that, oh, this is the Geshe something okay. But we really think which was Geshe. Because my body is not me, right? We say my body. We don't say I'm body. Right? It's easy. But my head is not me, because my head, we don't say my, I head. We say, 이게 나야 돼. 난 거기다 뭐라. I don't know how you say English. It's anyways different as we say. Same as my cup's not me. The same, my head not me. My cup, my head, my mind, my body. And, my land, anyway. We don't find anyone with me. 도대체 something 나와야 나 아니 나도 나 마신 가 됐다. 내 인스턴트 가 됐다. 무슨 로테 됐다. 노력이 다 해서.
So when we think in that way, then thinking that this is I, with our eye grasping, grasping of the eye, is the sign of being a mistaken mind.
아니면 오만주가 성스러워. 오만주가 성스러워. 어디 나와라. 빠데다에 오만주가 나가야. 아니 남친 나가 든. 빠세네 딱 가다 딱 얘가 말해 손을 해서.
So Chandrakirti said in his engaging in the middle way, so you will not find a person by looking into the person, by searching for the person.
나 부모가 강사 말해. 나 초바대야 말했어. 나 대바대야 말했어. 그래도 손을 해서.
So the five aggregate itself is not a person, and having five aggregate is also not a person. Any of the five aggregate is also not a person.
나 부모하고 강할라 때네. 다 부모가라 때네. 아니 다 미 샤워 쉐딩을 다 가다에 딱 와서 내려라고 들어왔어.
And so it is the imputation, that's imputed, on the five aggregates as a person. So that imputation itself, is the person.
아니 따배 맞아. 따자. 또배 따서. 대체 다 지미 따서 이거 가다셔 되는지.
So the person is the I imputed on any of the five aggregates. So the level I that is imputed on any of the five aggregates is called the person.
그래서 딱 나서 남의 강사 나 지금 말씀하면서 강사 여만 나고 강사 열에다 나 말해서 나나지.
And so when we say there's no self of a person, that doesn't mean that there's no person at all. There is a person, but there is no person as it appears to the ordinary people.
나도 강사 동료들하고 그러고 나도 민 동료들하고 그러고 같이 딱 나도 나더라고. 나더라 지금 동료들과 되게 양 단위 따투고 그래서 같이나 단위 되어 그랬어. 근데 다 대답되어 봐서 가지라고 그러더라고.
And so, of course, that person appeared to us, right? Such and such person appeared to us, and so we have to say this is that person, right? And such and such. And so that person, conventionally that person exists, right? So, because that person speaks to us, we can see the person, and so forth. So conventionally that person exists, but ultimately that person does not exist.
다 간지 맞지 다 나도 다음에 가사도 다음에 공세 다 들어오시는 간지 다 이도 느끼시는 공부 그래서
And so when we meditate on selflessness or the emptiness of the I, then that's how we analyze about I.
일단 나도 그가 돈이 그만 가오요 was every last meditate emptiness that but then we have to know emptiness. What's the emptiness? If we don't know real emptiness, then we meditate something, then we meditate something wrong, then we never got the result. No? 아니 기도 못 되다 또 많이 써야 돼. 다 그걸 그가 가오요 그래서 막 거기에서
As I understand, you are all very fond of meditating on emptiness, right?
very long, right? 그래서 meditation 해야 돼. 간나 수수지 진로지 돈이 돈을 뭐라 받고 그래서
And again, same with the mind understanding the emptiness or realizing emptiness. So one part of one's mind has to, has to change into the nature of the mind understanding emptiness.
근데 영화는 기 강한 또야 이 돈이 돼야 가지지 마다는 신고요.
So in order for that to happen, then we have to understand the object, emptiness itself.
그러니까 대 시발하다 노로로 뭐 제고 그래서 가지.
Again, to understand that, we have to study a lot.
이나 단단하게 추가지나 스토이문을 라면이 들어 나오는 가지다 라면은 맞춰봐. 또에 따서 취해서 또에 따서 이마다 신고 그래서.
And so we have to know that all these things right now, they appear as existing from their one side. And so we have to understand that none of these things exist from their one side. They are all imputed by our mind.
이거 아니 빠데 다메야 다 가지. 대만 맞추면 방법 다 거예요.
So Chandrakirti has posited many reasonings to prove that things do not exist from their own side.
간제 땡땡이 버셔스 다 때도 또 땡땡이 버셔가 땡땡이 소고 땡땡이.
And so one main reason is because they are all dependent rising.
아니 땡땡이 식당 나도 취해서 간가라 딱 봐도 못하게 잔이요 그래서.
So everything that exists, we can say is all included, either in prominent things or improminent things.
저도 깨나더니 지로들은 못 따봐서 저를 깨나더니 뭐나 이제 깨나더니 지게 뭐냐더라 아니 딱 따봐서는 그러고서.
And so that which comes into existence, or ceases by depending on cause and condition is impermanent thing, and that which do not depend on cause and condition for its existence or cessation is a permanent thing.
그래도 다 늦게 추 강한 연박이 지지라는 게 그래서 뭐.
So therefore, all the impermanent things or compounded phenomena all come by depending on cause and conditions.
아니 늦게 추 많이 배는데 딱바이 추 강한 연박이 딱 된대 딱 따봐 딱 된줘야 되지 그래서 다시 하는 거죠.
So all other things, uncompounded phenomena or permanent phenomena, they all come into existence by depending on the imputation.
다음에는 땡땡에서 가르쳐야 되나 보다 부모세한테 범이나 부모상도 영어를 사실 말해.
So when it says dependence, dependent rising, like for example, if there is no male, there cannot be female, right? So male depends on female.
아무도 싸우는 말은 부모 가가고 직땡가도 못 되는 거 같아요.
So if we don't think about it, we might think, oh, there's nothing to depend on each other because male is male, female is female. So how can male be depending on female?
근데 지금은 지금 용쓰기 말 텐데 림보 투도 해야 돼. 림보는 투도 샤야 말이지.
And so there, one can't exist, one can't exist if the other doesn't exist. And so same like if there's no long, there cannot be short.
간데다 덴바 마트비가 딱 빼서 가는 소콜 두천 싸움당고 그래서 땡땡이 거래.
So these are the examples that we can think, of how things are dependent rising.
beautiful 해야 돼. 아길이면 beautiful이야 말was.
And the same with the beautiful. If there's no ugly, there cannot be beautiful, right?
아니 답변 차선 간지 이해봐야 돼. 코로나 갑자기 샤야면은 아니 그 소리가 딱 지소 로샤도 말해.
So you can use all the examples. If you don't have something that is contrary to that, then you can't have that thing, right?
강식 땡주 많이 추가해 봐 많이 넣어서 받아들여 손을 넣어서.
And so that's why the Chandrakirti said there isn't any phenomena that isn't dependent arising.
어디 강가 떼주에서 아니 대바를 동안에 대바 한국에 저기 말. 다 수중에 저도见到 초바 강가를 받는 수중 저거 말이에요. 나서 때 저거는 나되게 돼.
So because they are dependent arising, they arise by depending on something, and therefore they do not exist inherently from their own side. But to us, things appear as existing from their own side.
그리고 아니 대바 접받나 랑군이 수중에 지금 여와이나 대라 대바 접받. 대 마트 받으라 아니 대바 마트 받. 근데 대바 접이 동화들라 이 돈이 되나 그래.
So if it exists truly, then it has to exist from its own side. Because it does not exist truly, therefore, it is not, because it doesn't exist from their own side, therefore it does not exist truly. So empty of existing truly from its own side, is the emptiness. So if it is not truly existing, then it doesn't have to be emptiness, right? So this cup, is not existing from its own side, and it's not existing truly, but it's not emptiness either. So the emptiness, is non-affirming, negative, is a prominent phenomenon. Emptiness itself is a prominent. The cup is, is impermanent. It can be broken. It can be seized. 근데 그때 베개를 채워다 이게 가시 나는 대바를 동안에 돈이 있고 말이에요. 대바를 동안에 가지 아니 대바 마트에 차. 대바 마트에 차서 그러는데 다뒤 공차 대롱을 채워다가 이게 다 동안에 공세로. So, like I said earlier, the emptiness means empty of existence from inside. Because it's that such and such thing, is empty. It does not exist truly. It's empty of existing from its own side. But doesn't mean if it is empty of existence from its own side, doesn't mean that it's emptiness. So that's how we came up with this example. Like the cup is empty of existence from its own side, but itself is not emptiness. So the philosophers, the people who study philosophy and debate, they debate a lot on this subject that if it is empty of existence from its own side, it doesn't have to be emptiness. If that is so, then you have to say everything is emptiness. So if everything is emptiness, then everything has to be permanent, because what is emptiness is permanent. 아니 돈이 세야지 대바 마트비 차 대또베가 대 마트비 차 또베로 땅에 지와서 돈이 들어오는 게 와서요. 보시다 말. So the emptiness means empty of existence from its own side. So when you realize that things are empty of existence from their own side, then you realize emptiness.
땅에 오다 다트네 오다 간지 아니 돈이 공산나 간지 저 담보 다 땡주고 섬이요. 담보래.
And so first you have to think, if you wish to meditate on emptiness, then first you have to think about the dependent arising. So if you can find a thing that is not dependent arising, then you can find a thing that is truly existing. So this is not like something they ordered, for us to believe in, but it is something that's true that's explained by them. So, but it's not easy to understand, it's pretty difficult. So that's why all these books were written by the masters of India, to explain about that.
I think they're all the who read the books there, maybe the pictures, we have the picture there on the for us.
So we have the picture of all these 17 penditas or great scholars who wrote these books.
From India. They're also, they're all scholars. There's some that say, that Kajiga not Dhamma Kaji Turkumaris, Kaji Kaza the Tubayo, Kaji Turkumaris. The
And so these different penditas or different scholars wrote different views. Like some says they exist truly, some say they don't exist truly, some say they exist from their own side, some say not. And so because there's so much debates and all these things, so that's how they came all these different number of books. So anyway, we all follow Nagarjuna in general, so Nagarjuna says things do not exist truly. So if you can find anything that is not independent rising, then you don't have to follow Nagarjuna.
Can you find something? Just some single, you don't need to big thing, some single one. Not
That which is not dependent rising.
can you find? If you find that, you say, oh, Nagarjuna, sorry, we found something. You're the wrong.
So, for example, like the prominent things do not arise from depending on causes or conditions, right?
Condition, condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the skeleton. So again, you can say there's a phenomena because there are two different types. It's because there are prominent things, improminent things. Therefore, you can say there are prominent things, and the prominent things depends on the improminent things. So in the improminent, depending on the improminent, is not depending like as a cause or condition.
아니 그 매를 갈아야 지금 코로나 댄서가 예때 매송하는 그 매를 그 제가 길어졌다고 말했어. 근데 돈 받쳐서나 변매되게 돈이 변매되게 따봐 변매되게 돈이 세야 되가지고 무슨 지지 투자라고 말 그 매를 그랬어. 대매와데 그 샤사 댄서 돈 받매서는 뒤에 돈이 매워져서 하면서 그 제가 길어라 내가 말했어.
So again, also when the emptiness of the pot disappears upon the breaking of the pot. So the emptiness of the pot, is the emptiness, and it is permanent, right? So it should not disintegrate and so forth. But when the pot is broken, then there's no more emptiness of that pot. So that disappearance of that emptiness or disintegration of that emptiness is not, because of depending on cause and condition, but because the basis to which it's applied is no longer there, so therefore there cannot be emptiness. So same with the eastern sky or western sky and so forth. So eastern sky and western skies, they depend on each other, but they're not dependent on each other as cause and condition. And so, for example, when you say depending on it, so you can depend as cause and condition, or cause and result, cause and effect. So, like when you talk about mother and son, then they have the causal relationship. Right? So, but when we say the other side of the river and this side of the river, then that's not a cause and condition, right? But they depend on each other. They're just depending. This side depends on the other side depends on this. So those two happens at the same time, right? This side of the river happens at the same time as the other side of the river. But the cause and result, cause and effect, do not happen at the same time. So then the dependent rising, also dependent rising by depending on cause and condition, or by dependent rising by depending on the imputation, on the dependency, and so forth.
요것도 설명서마다 다 진행돼 주는 거라고.
Like the seed and sprout, you can say it is the dependent rising of cause and result, cause and effect.
방금도 값이 조절 때 말이지. 단대 가능 때 주세요.
So that's the cup is dependent on the base, right? The table. So what kind of dependence is that?
내가 내 나와서 말. 값이 조절 때 나와서 말. 그래. 다 조절했다는 값 나와 있나? 아니, 다 조절할 때 값이 샤오샤오게 거지. 조절 때 값이 나.
So if you say the cup on the table depends on the table also, right? So if there's no table, you cannot say cup on the table.
You can just cup, you don't say cup. Anyway, this is also the 딱 동반이 계속 가고 여기 있는 같이 드리고 그랬다. 선물 나 뭐라 땅 나가지고 될 수 있는 딱 로고를 했어.
So if you're interested in emptiness, then you should think it this way and also read all these different texts by Nagarjuna and so forth that explains about emptiness.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Geshe, in terms of the dependence, instead of so I understand that long and short, that long depends on short, but that seems to be more of a verbal convention. It's stronger to say that it is long because my mind is conceptualized, my conceptual mind is imputing long on whatever this basis is, and that dependence is the most subtle of dependence, that instead of, the three types of dependent arising, cause and effect, dependence on parts, and the dependence on imputation by the mind. Is that a stronger sense of dependent arising as opposed to the verbal convention of long and short?
다들 저기 때에 따라서 했던 차실했다 때에 따라서 때에 따라서 가서 따라서 때에 따라서 따라서 때에 받은 때에 생각과 따라요 또 따라서 때에 받은 아니 차실할 때 받은 유견 때 맞아요. 아 그래서라다 다들 때 타라기 키워셔고 그랬어. 다 때에 따라서 때 타왔던 데에 있어서 그냥 아주 다른 몰라들은 통도 세도 지기라서 제 책이 다들 땡겨라 가지고 이번에 그러다 랭보스야 돼서 그 로이 따봐. 내가 로이 따봐서 로이 그 내가 랭보스 따봐서 그 랭보스 따르고 잘 가지고 그 랭보스 차리 통도나 때에 랭보스 잘 말았어. 그 랭보스는 그 맹 따봐서 그 랭보스 잘 알았어요. 그 랭보스는 맹 맞다봐이나? 그 랭보스 말았어. 통도 요바이 나면은
주실면은 따야 되고 말았어. 리모트 따서 지금 말았어. 되게 왜 하나 리모트 따서 지금 말았어.
So yes, of course, it depends on that imputation. So you impute something as long, but why do you impute that as long? Because there is something which is shorter than that. Oh, because it's longer than that short, therefore we impute that as long.
But in the absence of that short, I could just impute. I could just impute the long even without the short existing. I can't make up and I can't get a good example right now in my mind, but I could just simply conceptually impute some concept that doesn't have an opposite. It is just that concept, and my imputation, my conceptual mind that imputes that concept is enough to say that concept is now dependent arising
on the imputation.
On the imputation, right? Without going into the.
다 하나씩은 다른 통도매버를 못 다이어레스. 아 랭보 통도라 마때 받다가 그래서 로이 파다 랭보 따가서는 때라 로 따고라 때는 거를 못 차이어레스. 통도를 마때 봐. 그런 배트는 사실입니다. 생각들이 뭘 상관없어.
되게 이거 상관없어. 통도면은 그거랑 보다 다르지 요 말씀드렸어.
So in order to in order to nominate something as long, you have to have a short. Because you cannot think of any idea of being able to impute something as long without a short.
당연히 요 말씀.
So that word, the convention of the long can't exist without the short.
Is that the case for all such conventions, or every convention has to have its?
정말 단위 상마들이 그래서 정말 그런 게 딱 갑자기 뭐 그래서.
망아제 빠지요. 망아제 갑자기 고.
Most of them.
갑자기 댄스하고 전시지 고.
Well, not necessarily the contrary aspect of that,
right.
But something that has to depend on. That it has to depend on.
Right. So I'm getting that other set where.
Yeah, the other side, yeah. But you know, in the case of this,
Yeah, in this
in the case of long and short,
Yeah, in the
this
long-
side and that side. You know?
Right, long
yeah.
and short I agree, but I think there are cases where you may not have the short version, the corresponding short for that concept, or for the contrary of that concept.
호랑이스라도 상황을 보고 말했어. 제가 뭐 통도도 이제 얘기했더라. 뭐 통도도 다 약보다 독자세다. 근데 가서 초 미초다 파초세야. 그래서 걸었어. 근데 또 상황을 보고 말했어. 그러니까 쪽서라는 거랑 같이 보고 말아. 그래서 쪽서 따봐라. 아니 그 제가 지금 갑자기 그런 카드를 보고요.
갑자기도 말이야. 쪽에서 해야지 내리 도도고 임바지 그 포샤들이 나도 쪽에서 따져. 갑자기도 그거 말아. 그거 땡 거거든.
So of course you don't need that, you know, the opposite aspect of that. You don't really need it. Like when we label something as a table,
Right.
you know, you don't need that non-table. You know,
Right.
well because there's a non-table, therefore it's table. You don't have to say that.
Yeah.
But in the case of this side and that side,
Yes.
or long and short, beautiful and ugly, or these things, you know, because there are contrary things like that. Why you say it's beautiful? Because it's
Sure.
beautiful than the ugly one. It's not really beautiful. Completely beautiful, right?
Sure.
If it's completely beautiful, then you can say it cannot be completely beautiful. You know, it's beautifuler than something else, you know, so that's why it's called beautiful, you know, like that.
근데 다 지체는 따봤다 나도 라파리라 나도 관계기 때문에 나하고 그래서.
Yeah, and you're right about that, you know, being the subtlety, you know, the dependent rising by, you know, through imputation is more subtle than dependent rising, you know, through the cause and effect. Because cause and effect is easier to understand, it's more gross, and it's easier to understand.
아니 때는 따봤다 자기한테 따봤다 또 잘 알았어.
So, you know, the dependent rising by, you know, depending on the imputation or depending on the parts is a little more subtle, more difficult to understand.
Good. He have very pretty interest for when the Nagarjuna that times. Maybe that time he was there some maybe bird, and then there was maybe some bird there will go fly died on Nalanda Mountain. Anyway, then any other questions? Okay, now I think we stop here.
Call yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was scratching my head.
That was a good scratch.
Is your question?
No.
Any other questions?
Or maybe you have an announcement.
I do, but
And that question is not to ask us,
So if you don't have questions, then we'll stop here.
아니 저도 지금 맞다봐서 돈에서 들려 가오에나 간지 딱 당고 싶도 대당 라모서 이제 대당 이제 대마무 이가 나래라 뭐고 대마만 놓으래서 봐.
So if you're interested to know about emptiness and impermanence and so forth, then you should read more of these books that explains about this. Like there are many books by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and by Pabongka Rinpoche.
아니 lam-rim 제모 지금 저 lam-rim 제모로 와나 디니라 동반이다 와디 그 제모를 해서 봐.
And also the Lama Tsongkhapa's lam-rim, the great expositions, you know, the stages of path to enlightenment by Lama Tsongkhapa, and explains very well about that, about emptiness. So if you can read that, you also get a lot of knowledge from there.
아니 야서 동반이도 지 땡주들 골라야 간다 정리되시고 야보셔야 그래.
So also there's there's a text called the eloquent speech, you know, of what's the interpretive and definitive meaning. Eloquent speech, you know, of interpretive and definitive meaning. And so that also explains, you know, about emptiness very well.
다시 또 땡주 골라 먹어. 아니 저다 먹어서 넣어서 골라 먹어 송겨서.
About emptiness and about the dependent arising. Explains, you know, the different views, you know, of different tenets.
다 얘나 다 모두 저 골라서 나와라. 네 나도 다 베이스 내가 저거는 다 가상에 다나만 넣어야 돼. 만 넣어야 돼. 아니 처음 따봐. 그리고 나중에 내가 처음 따봐. 그거다. 내가 좀 쓰게 됐어.
So in order to understand those, you know, it is important to understand, you know, the preliminaries, and the basics ones, and so that is, you know, meditating on profit and rebirth and so forth. So that's what we were studying, right? About the profit and rebirth, the optimum and rebirth, understanding how beneficial it is, you know, how difficult it is to find, and so forth.
Okay, then we stop. Okay? Have a good day. Thank you.